Alright, so after a lot of people suggesting it, I finally sat down, not under my free will, but just the way it worked. I sat down and I watched Twilight. I've avoided it through my 24 years of life, and yet somehow I've come to a time where I watched it, and oh boy, hold on, Spider Monkey, because this one was a this one was a bumpy ride. So this is my reluctant review of Twilight.
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
So before we start this video, I just want everyone to know, if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe. When I hit 100 subscribers, I have a really fun and exciting video prepared and ready to go. Once I hit the 100 subscribers, I'm going to give it to you. And it's really fun. It's something different that we haven't seen on this channel yet. And so I appreciate your support, those who are and those who haven't. Just hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell so you can get updates whenever I post my video. So let's dive into Twilight. Here's my deal. I am very reluctant to say this right now, but if this video gets 50 likes on it, 50, that's it, I will commit to watching every Twilight movie and reviewing it in a little series. I don't want to do that. It's going to take years off my life. I'm going to hate it. But if I get 50 likes, I'll make it happen. If not, I'll be happy. I'll be happy if this doesn't get 50 likes and I can go about doing my own thing and I don't have to watch Twilight. But if it does, I'll do it. I've said it. It's a deal. It's done. Okay. It's there. Cool. So, for the most part, everyone knows the storyline of Twilight. Bella, who is a girl moving in with her father in this remote town of Washington, and while her mother is off with some minor league baseball player in spring training, and so then she ends up getting wrapped into this new high school, and little does she know, there are vampires, the Cullens, where she meets Edward, and you all know how the story goes from there. Well, my first reaction to maybe 10 minutes into this film was, who put the blue Instagram filter over the whole film? It did, like, I was like confused. I was like, is this the quality of my computer? Is this what's going on here? No, that they just said, hey, let's put that filter, scroll through the filters. No. That's the one. That's the one we want to use for the whole film. I don't get it. Maybe it's because it's a rainy town. They're trying to give this blue, melancholy, dull vibe, but I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know why they did it, but they did it, and I'm confused by it. I'm still confused by it. I probably will never understand it to this day, but me trying to rationalize anything in this movie is going to be a crapshoot, so I won't. So the next big thing is, it's the acting. And I didn't know half the actors in this movie are actually quality actors, like in the future. But when they made this movie, what were they on? I mean, this has to be a low point for all the actors in this movie, for sure. And I can't imagine this being a high point for any of them. I would say, on a scale of 1 to acting, I'd give this movie a solid 3. Like, the actors have a solid 3 on that scale, because it didn't feel like acting. I felt like I was watching a high school production of Twilight, the way they were acting. It was really bad. And I really want to know if that was the goal, was to make it as bad as it was and make them overact, because I don't know how you miss out on that when watching film back and watching the scene. Like, it was quite blatant. What was the director's vision when they were sitting there behind the camera, like, okay, Bella, you're gonna walk up to him. I need you to look around and blink, like, a lot. Like, blink an abnormal amount of times. And then when he looks back at you, look away and bite your lip. And then the director's behind the camera. Okay, yep, blink. Oh, beautiful. Okay, look at her. Look away, bite your lip. Oh, amazing. It didn't look good. It didn't make sense. I don't know what the thought process was going into half of these scenes or where the directorial vision was. It's just baffling to me. Like, okay, Bella, you're going to walk in the classroom. Edward, I wanted you to look at her and then have a stroke. The lab scene didn't look how it was intended to look, is my assumption with this scene. When she walks in, he smells her for the first time. He wants to eat her, and then next thing you know, he's like having a stroke. And I'm like, okay. The forest scene. Ooh, the forest scene was so bad. Like, my head hurts thinking about it. I don't know where they were coming from with these camera angles and random close-ups, and they were having a conversation just looking at each other and kind of walking around in a circle, but every 2 seconds it was like zooming in on them on like the not that deep of a conversation. And I was like, what is the point of this? I'm getting motion sick just trying to watch this scene of them having a normal conversation. And it exaggerated the bad acting on top of it. If it was just a normal conversation, there would not be a problem. But the fact that the cameras were moving everywhere and close-ups and everything just made everything more exaggerated when it definitely didn't need to be. But once again, maybe that's what they were going for with this.
Out loud.
Okay, I would say the baseball scene was the one where I was like, okay, like I can vibe with it. And then the Black Eyed Peas showed up and they and they ruined that scene. But it was cheesy, but not in like the way that everything else about this movie was. It was bearable cheesy, but I think that's just compared to everything around it. It makes sense. But if this baseball scene was in this movie without the rest of what was happening around it, it would be the most cheesy scene in any movie. So just for what it's worth, the baseball scene was okay. I enjoyed it for the time being. Another scene I had a big issue with, and I guess they explain this better in the books. I obviously have not and will not read the books, but they explain this better in the books, so I've been told. But in the movie, we're reviewing the movie, not what translates better through book and movie. We're reviewing the movie. So the movie, this scene, is when this one of the Black Eyed Peas, the evil vampires that are trying to take Bella and kill her, he ends up going to Bella's mother's house and calls Bella and says, "Hey, I got your mother. You better come to your old ballet studio." And at first I'm like, why? I go, where did the connection between, hey, I have your mom, come get her, and then just meet me in your old ballet studio? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Has it like, it's your past. I know no one's gonna be there. It doesn't make any sense why he wanted to bring her to the old ballet studio. This scene, I was seriously going, why? Who made this decision? I guess it's different in the books, so I've been told, but the movie alone, and off movie knowledge alone, it made no sense. So that scene was awful. I mean, most of these scenes are awful. There are some quotes in this movie where I audibly yelled, like, no, they did not just say that. Hold on tight, Spider Monkey was one of them. And then my other favorite quote of this movie was, "You're like my own personal brand of heroin." That was a fun one. Didn't think I'd hear that line while watching Twilight. I didn't think I'd see half the stuff and hear half the stuff I did while watching Twilight. I thought half of the stuff that I saw was like a joke. Beforehand, knowing like some stuff and some people talking about Twilight, I thought things were a joke that were actually real scenes and lines in the movie. It's just so bad. The movie itself isn't like so bad that it's good. I can see where some people find that line and enjoy it to that extent. I think it's so bad it's just awful. It's hard to watch. It's a lot, like hard to watch a lot, like the first half of the movie. It's like practically unbearable. how awkward it is, and how weird it is.
Do you trust me?
In theory.
Then close your eyes.
Okay, so the question was, am I Team Edward or am I Team Jacob? As of right now, after Twilight Movie 1, I am currently Team Edward. And here is why I am Team Edward. He's being a little scaredy cat. His dad's paying him money to talk to Bella. His dad's trying to pull moves on Bella for him. That ain't cool. Stop that, Jacob. I'm fully expecting a little bit of a turnaround. I act like I'm gonna watch the rest of the series. If I were to watch the rest of the series, which would be that might take some years off my life, but if I were to, maybe Jacob would warm up to me and I could figure out why there's this whole Team Jacob, Team Edward stuff. Because right now I'm Team Edward. As weird as it is, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. It's the lesser of two evils, and it's probably the better option as of right now after 1. And Bella seems hooked on Edward. She looks like she wants nothing to do with Jacob. So that is where I stand after movie 1. I have to rate this movie. It doesn't even deserve a rating, but I'm going to rate it. Overall, this movie was bad. It was bad. It was bad. And it was bad. So I give it a 2 out of 10. Those 2 points have nothing to do with the movie itself. It is because Twilight is a cultural phenomenon, and if it can get this many people backing this movie, then it deserves some credit, whether good or bad credit, but it's credit. So I'll give it a 2 out of 10, and we'll leave it there. Oh, that was a lot. That's all.